I don't even know. I don't even know how to start this video. This U.S. men's national team is a disgrace. It's a disaster. I honestly, in my opinion, it's just people not caring. Like, how can you sit here and convince me that these players don't give a shit about their national team? These fans don't give a shit about their national team. This was a USA versus Panama in the semifinals of the Nations League. The same competitions in the Europa League, so don't be like, oh, this competition is not real. No, it's a competition. It's an international competition, and it means a lot to CONCACAF. And it should mean a lot to everybody who plays in it. Semifinal USA versus Panama. First of all, nobody, I think maybe 7 people showed up to that stadium in Los Angeles. And USA versus Panama, to those of you who don't know, maybe it doesn't sound like incredible. Like, who the fuck is Panama? Like, why is Panama a big deal? Panama knocked USA out of the Copa America last year. USA lost to Panama in the semifinals of the Gold Cup. Like, Panama has been somewhat of a rival to the USA in recent years. They've been beating us in the most recent games that we've played them in. And we go into the semifinals of the Nations League. This is supposed to be our revenge game. We're supposed to be getting back at them, not only preparing for the 2026 World Cup that we're going to be hosting as a nation, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, something that we're probably never going to get ever again for as long as I live. And you lose 1-0, a 94th minute winner, and in the most boring, the most depressing, the most outlandish game that I've ever seen the US play. What the US media were promoting more than the actual game itself was Panama's winner celebrating with Thierry Henry. That was being advertised more than the actual game itself. Okay, they lost. Sure, it is what it is. That happens. 90th minute winner. It can happen to anybody. Okay, we have the third place game against Canada, a big nation, one of the biggest nations in CONCACAF. They have a pretty decent team as well. Alfonso Davies, Larin. They have Jonathan David. They have Buchanan. A pretty decent team. As the USA, you just lost to Panama. Now you want to bounce back and redeem yourselves against Canada. Be like, hey, we can beat the likes of Canada, who have a pretty good team. No, instead you lose 2-1. I don't get it. I genuinely don't understand. There's something that is wrong with soccer in the United States, and specifically with this US men's national team. It's impossible. I don't think you guys understand. It's impossible to have a team like what the US men's national team have right now. If you like, just look at their roster and look at the names that are on that list. Christian Pulisic, in my opinion, probably the best American player ever in our history, alongside Landon Donovan, and we can't do anything about it. We have the best American player to ever touch a soccer ball. Yeah, I know I'm saying soccer ball because I'm American. I don't give a fuck. We have players like Musa, we have Weston McKennie, we have Tyler Adams, we have Giovanni Reina. Like, and you guys think like, oh, these are shit players. Yeah, these are the best American players that we've ever had. We have these players that are playing in Europe in high leagues, in good teams in Europe. Like, these guys are not terrible players. These guys are really good players. Better than Panama. No disrespect to Panama, I can tell you that. But there's just no pride. There's just no pride. There's just no passion for the badge. There's no pride for the nation, for playing for your national team, which is what soccer is like mainly about. Like, I'm also Argentine. I'm Argentinian American. I have so much pride for my heritage for Argentina. And I know for a fact that nobody can argue with me on this one, that there is so much pride and passion for the Argentinian players for their nation. Those players dream to play for their national team. USA don't. I feel like for USA, those players couldn't care less to play for their national team. Instead, they're focused on their European clubs. They're focused on not getting interested and go back and play over there. It's like they really don't care. But it's not just the players. The fans don't give a shit either. Nobody showed up to the Canada game. Nobody showed up to the Panama game. Nobody was probably watching from home. I was probably the one of 7 people that watched it from home. And I honestly regret every single minute watching it. It was so shit. The quality of football was terrible. And I understand that it's CONCACAF. It's not how the Europeans play. It's not how South American plays. But it's like, come on, man. Like, football's football, soccer is soccer, no matter where you play. And this is a nation that is supposed to be one of the hosts for the World Cup next year. I understand that the host nation is not, like, they don't have to be the best and whatever. Like, in Qatar, like, they're not the best nation, respect to them. but like it's just true. But we have a good team on paper. We are just missing that passion, that fire, the identity of American soccer. That is something that we're missing, and it is preventing us from playing good. And we should be ashamed of how we are playing, how the performances that we're putting on out on the field. And maybe it's the fact that we're not good, that nobody's showing up, right? But like that is the problem. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, if you're a real soccer, a real football fan, if your team is not doing well, you still show up to support them. Like, you don't just not show up because they're playing like shit. Like, I'm not gonna stop watching Argentina because they're playing like shit. I supported Inter Miami for the last 5 years. They were playing like dog shit when they first joined the MLS. They were not winning a single game. We were the worst team in MLS history, but I still went. I was a season ticket member for 5 years, 3 years before Messi. Nobody showed up to those games. I was there. Not even my dad would want to go. It would just be me, there'd be one guy behind me, and then some supporters on the other side. You show up to support your nation, your team, because that's who you are. That's who you support. You have pride. You have passion for this badge. But the U.S. don't have it. The U.S. just simply don't have it. And that is what they're severely, severely lacking. And in terms from how much time can they actually change and be ready for next year's World Cup, I have no idea, because there's a window in the summertime where the national teams get together, but the Club World Cup is happening at the same time, so those players are going to be playing in the Club World Cup. And then I believe there's some time in the fall, like in November or something, but it's like there's not enough time for you guys to fix this. So what are you going to do? Like, you guys had so many years. I understand. Like, we were winning more with Greg Berhalter. That is so shameful. I believe in Mauricio Pochettino. I'm not putting any blame on Mauricio Pochettino. I feel like, well, even though he could have done things a little bit better, that's not the point, because it's not his fault. He just arrived. He needs time. And I'm hoping that he will instill this passion, this fire of a mentality into these U.S. men's national team players, because they just simply don't care, and nobody cares. And that's why we're not succeeding. Argentina are the best nation in the world because they actually give a fuck. Like they actually care. They actually like each other. They actually play together as a unit. They respect their head coach. They respect each other. They have leaders in the locker room that's outside of Messi. I know, like, you shouldn't compare apples to fucking oranges, but it's essentially the same situation. You can't rely on Christian Pulisic to be the one leader in the locker room. You need Tim Reed to be more of a leader. You need somebody else, Weston McKennie. I don't care who, but somebody has to step up and be a leader for this team. There needs to be multiple leaders, not just one freaking captain. There's not just one captain in every team. There's multiple leaders in teams. Oof, I feel like I got that out of my chest pretty well. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this U.S. men's national team. What do you think has to improve? Do you think they care? Do you think you're not? I don't think they give a shit. Do you think they'll fix their acts by the time the World Cup comes around? I highly doubt it. I don't think so. If you guys are new here, hit like, hit subscribe. We do Argentina talk. We do Inter Miami talk. We just do football talk around the world. Catch the live streams here on YouTube as well. Link will be in the description. I'll see you guys then.